Alright, so for today's video I'm introducing a new project here at the shop. Just going to be doing all the sheet metal on it. I'll take you around the car and show you some of the problems. The car is deceiving to look at because I would imagine on video, even in person, when you're standing back from it, it doesn't look that bad, but really it needs pretty much every piece of metal aside from the top end of it. B-pillars look good, the roof looks good. Roof rail channels look good. Inner structure looks good, but it does have some twisting from just examining it. Frame rail in the back's twisted, the frame rail in the front's a little twisted, but I'll go around and show you. It's a pretty cool project to be working on here. This car is actually for a tech company in California. They're going to be completing the build. I'm just doing sheet metal and it's getting sent to paint, and they're going to put the car back together themselves with some of their technology on it to use to show and unveil at the CES tech convention in Vegas in January. So they're under a tight deadline here, so I'm also under a deadline, so I'm going to be hustling on this car to get it done here hopefully in the next 3 to 4 weeks. I'm going to be hustling, so I'm just going to be in this video just tearing it apart and really seeing what's left in the end. I already know what's going to be left, but I'm going to be cutting off the front end, cutting out all the entire floor, rear frame rails. Most of the quarters are getting cut off just to send it to blast. It's getting full quarters, but I'll walk around here and show you some of the car. But just like I said, when you're really looking at it, it doesn't look that bad, but once you start examining every single panel, you can see the front brace here is completely twisted, and it took some of the rad support with it and a little bit of the frame rail. So something hit it there in that bottom section. Battery apron is starting to get blown out. It's bent. The back apron on both sides are like something hit it on the inside, that they're dented outward. This front apron is dented inward also on this side. Just over the years, you just never know what happens to these cars. It sits pretty level on the platform, but which is deceiving because the rear rail is really twisted on this side. I'll show you here in a minute. So front end forward, it's going to get new one-piece towers, rad support. I'm hoping the upper cowl will blast out nice, and I'd like to reuse the upper cowl, change the lower. Side panels look good. Doors need replaced, trunk lid needs replaced. I'm hoping the outer rockers are good, but inside you can see the floors were patched terribly. They just have a thin piece over top of existing metal, so typical patch job for back in the day or someone that's doing it quick. So this frame rail here, you can actually see the line of seam sealer, and you can see how it's kind of twisted like that. This rail is actually bumped up and twisted in to the car, which also shifted the wheelhouse and the inner structure there. Now that I've been looking at the car, which I could see if you could see it on video from the front. I have the car sitting level. That might be hard to see it on the video, but if you look at that the rectangle there of that inner bracing, this corner here is much lower than the corner here. So when that hit, it kind of twisted all that up in. So relieving all that inner structure by cutting out the entire floor, cutting off the quarter panel so I can get that inner structure back to where it needs to be. Quarter panels, you're looking at them, oh yeah, they look pretty good. There's I don't know how much Bondo in there. You could just see the line cracks from it all. There's a lot of Bondo and everything, even the doors. The other side is more visible. That was already patched before and just had a ton of Bondo put in it. When you look at it out in the sun, you can kind of see it right here. There's a line of where there's a patch in there of some sort and a bunch of Bondo in there already. You can see it's bubbling out on the inside. So the doors are not any good. Quarters are not any good, so they'll get full quarters up at the top. I'll melt the lead out. Pull the glass out. Taillight panel, there's rust that's been covered up also. I was pushing on things. You can see just where it's cracking out there just from moving it. Things have been hidden. There's a bunch of Bondo on the trunk lid. Everything's smeared with Bondo. So all that's gonna be gone. So I'll set up my GoPro, I'll unbolt everything that's boltable, pull out the rear, pull out the front suspension, steering, doors, trunk lid, pull out the glass, everything that can come off easily, and then I'll start cutting bits and pieces off till I get it to where I set it on my cart ready for blast. So I'm gonna start taking it apart.